In part one, we talked about who Athena Strand was. We shared the words of her uncle that he presented to inmate 999640 personally. We listened to him discuss that he has destroyed a family and the damage will last for generations. We discussed amazing lawmen. We shared a couple of funny stories that Athena's mom has shared of Athena. We encourage you all to continue to flood the feed pink for Athena. In this episode, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what protective custody is like, Gen Pop, what it would look like if his sentence got commuted to life without parole, because there's a growing number of people who were already concerned about his living conditions. We will get into that next. Welcome back, Darkness Debaters. Brandy, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah. I'm ready
Good.
to dive into this next episode.
Yeah. So you got
going
your
on?
Yes. You got your pink. Brandy's got a new setup there. I'm still working on mine, so you can't see it just yet. I'm still working. We wanted to talk about some things. When I woke up Saturday morning, a couple of weeks ago, after it was the Saturday after inmate 999640 received the death penalty, the first thing that was on my Facebook was an article about people who were complaining about the inmates' living conditions in Huntsville, Texas, on the Polanski unit. They were already complaining that it's inhumane to make him live like that. So in the first episode, we discussed a couple of things, and I'm just going to reiterate. One of the witnesses who read the testimony explained that he called Athena a bitch more than once and threatened to come back and hurt her. And this was after he was explaining and showing her how to perform oral sex on him. She was found naked, face down in a creek on a cold November night, right before Christmas. It took him several tries of strangling her and beating her before he finally was able to murder her.
Let's not forget stomping.
Yes, he stomped on her, continuously threatened her. At one point, while she was screaming and crying, he turned the radio up and started singing Jingle Bell Rock. At this point, when she woke up at one of the times that she woke up more than once. If he would have pulled over next to a dark parking lot and kicked her out naked and drove away so that somebody else could have found her and called police, that would have been more humane than the continued strangling, stomping, hitting, threatening, name calling, and everything else. She was bruised from head to toe. She screamed and cried in the back of that truck for her mom and her dad. She had to have been terrified. The humane thing for him to do, honestly, would have, for it to have never happened. That would have been humane for him to have never done this. But if he was already in that situation, what could he have done that would have been humane? He's already picked her up. He's already assaulted her. He could have pulled over and kicked her out of the truck. Not literally kicked her, but, pushed her out of the truck and said, here, go get help from somebody, and drove off. And I'm going to be honest, with the way these cases go, if he had done that, he probably would have gotten like 2 years in prison and some probation. And he'd be out to do this again. I have to wonder just how strong his punishment would have been had he not murdered her. We just saw an attorney in Waco assaulted a young boy for years and threatened to pew him more than once, and he got 30 days in jail. So I would have to think that inmate 999640, had he not chosen to murder her, probably would have gotten something similar, especially since he didn't have a criminal background at that point. But since he did, and he did it in one of the most torturous ways, like that was torture. I think that would fall under torture for somebody to strangle you until you pass out. They think you've passed away, but you just passed out, and you wake up gasping, and they call you names and threaten you, especially when you're 7 years old and you're laying in the back of a truck naked, and he's just done stuff to you, and he's been beating you to the point where you're bruised from head to toe, and his shoe prints are on your body. He left his shoe prints on her body, folks. So for all the people talking about him deserving a humane living arrangement, you're going to have to explain that a little bit better. You're going to have to explain that a little bit better. Well, we don't have to return evil for evil. Here's the thing. We've gotten so soft on people harming children that things like this happen. So I don't think we need to do anything more humane than what he's getting. I've got some pictures here of the Polanski unit.
Yes.
Mold on the walls.
Yes.
Tiny little, 60 square foot cell?
It sounds about right. He gets a little small little mattress for a bed. He gets a sink and a toilet. He gets to spend 22, 23 hours a day in his cell. He gets to shower maybe twice a week. When he gets out to shower, he has to leave. He has to be searched and then handcuffed and taken to the shower. He's allowed to shower for 15 minutes, and he's taken straight back to his cell. If they have staff enough to allow it, he gets yard time a couple times a week. It's not in contact with any other inmate, and that's only if they have enough staff to allow it. If he is allowed to, he's allowed to have a radio in his cell. I don't know who they say can and cannot have a radio, and I'm not sure if inmate 999640 is allowed that. He's allowed to have legal material in his cell with him. He gets past his meals through a little hole in the door. If he does get visitors, he is not allowed contact with any visitors whatsoever. So it has to be through the thick glass. He will not be able to hug his mom or anything like that. No contact.
I think that's fair until Athena can hug her mom.
Exactly. He will live a pretty solitary life. He will be alone. If you look at some of the pictures of the Polanski floor where they keep the death row inmates, you will see one picture where the door is actually burnt, where someone has set fire to it to get the guards' attention, because that was the only way they could get the guards' attention. And I honestly have to say, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, I think all of these living conditions are way too good for him. I really do. I think he's living a life of luxury. He's eating on our dime, he's sleeping on our dime, and he gets to breathe, and he gets to breathe more breaths than Athena ever did. So, and in my opinion, it's all too good for him. But I want to reiterate this. He is exactly where he needs to be. Because Maitland, Athena's mother, the one who brought her into this world, has said from the beginning, she wanted inmate 999640 to get the death penalty. And I think her opinion trumps all others. I really do. He is exactly where he needs to be, and he is getting exactly everything he brought on to himself.
Yes. And think about that, what Brandy just said. Those last words she just said, he brought on to himself. He wouldn't be there if he hadn't kidnapped, sexually assaulted, tortured, and murdered a 7-year-old child. He could have prevented this. He could have stopped his own inhumane treatment by not being inhumane to a 7-year-old child. There is nobody here to blame except him. And with all that being said, I want to say I'm not a huge fan of the death penalty. I'm a much bigger fan of life without parole. I think having to sit in prison and live like that, I think that's a worse punishment in a lot of cases. But somebody like this inmate is going to lay in his cot, and at some point he's going to relive what he did to her. And it's going to turn him on. And he's going to do things to himself while he thinks about it. And now, when that fantasy is playing out in his head, he'll know that there's a needle coming for him. And when he looks around that cell and he hasn't had any human contact, even with a guard, in several days, that fantasy won't be so great anymore. And I think if for no other reason, we need to destroy that fantasy. I think that fantasy needs to be destroyed.
I agree.
And I want y'all to think about something too. People have said, well, you give him life without parole and throw him in gen pop, and justice or prison justice will prevail. 93% of inmates that go to prison for crimes against children are never assaulted by other inmates. Think about that. This prison justice thing that we all like to comment on Facebook, like, oh, the prisoners will get him. That's statistically unlikely. And also, inmate 999640 is a high-profile inmate. There's no way he would ever be put in gen pop. He would live in protective custody, which would be almost exactly what he's living now. He would be spending 22 to 23 hours in his cell. He might have access to a little bit more reading material, but he would be completely segregated from everyone again. He would still not have privileges to be around other inmates. It would be too dangerous for him. And if you think that's wrong, Chris Watts. When's the last time you heard that Chris Watts has been assaulted in prison? I'll wait. You never have, because it's never happened, because he's in protective custody. He's got so many threats against him that he's in protective custody and always will be. And nobody's managed to get a hold of him. It's not like you see in the movies where the inmates pay off a guard and the guard lets them in. Those guards will be held criminally liable themselves. They're not going to trade their freedom for that. And I can't blame them. I wouldn't either. It is their job to keep that inmate safe, and they're going to do it. I mean, you're talking about the stars aligning in a perfect world for them to be able to let another inmate in there to perform prison justice, where the guard won't directly get in trouble for that. And I guarantee you that's not going to happen on the Polanski unit. There's not going to be a way for a guard to say, oopsie, drop the key. That's not how that works. So this prison justice you guys are hollering about, it's not going to happen. It will not. And there is no way that they put this inmate in Gen Pop. It don't happen. Just like Chris Watts. He will be protected for the rest of his life, and he will have the almost exact same living conditions that he does now. Scott Peterson is in Gen Pop. Scott Peterson murdered his pregnant wife, Lacey, and his unborn son, Connor. And you know, I could only find an instance of one altercation that he's been in involving another inmate, and I couldn't find accurately if it was 2023 or 2025, but it was over a pickleball game. And that's it. And he murdered his wife and unborn son. There was another, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was convicted of murdering 23 children in Georgia. He's in Gen Pop. He's been in one altercation that happened in like the 80s. And it was like over a card game or something. It's something minor. And that's it. So you can't rely on prison justice. And honestly, we shouldn't. We shouldn't be waiting for other inmates to take care of these people, because we need to do that. It's honestly, it's not those other inmates' job to do it. It's our job. It's our job to make sure that we elect representatives that uphold that if you hurt a child, we will put you down like a dog. If a dog bites a child, that dog gets put down. Why is it that we can have a human sexually assault, kidnap, molest, harass, stalk, anything else, a child, as long as they don't murder them, they get 30 days in jail, an ankle monitor? No. That's what death row is for to me. I honestly, Eileen, I can't remember her last name.
Warnos?
Yes. I don't think she should have gotten the death penalty. I think she should have gotten life without parole. I mean, honestly. And there's others that I don't think should have gotten the death penalty. But in this case, inmate 999640, he's living the life he deserves now.
If you look up death penalty in the dictionary, it will pop up a picture, 999640. Underneath that picture, with his little mug, right there for all to see. He is the picture perfect poster child for why Texas likes to unalive our murderers, and we do so proudly.
Yes. He could either be on death row in the living conditions he's in, where an end is in sight. There's an end coming. I mean, he's going to have years, Although some prisoners are they get so tired of living like that, they end up waiving the rest of their appeals. He's got an end coming. It's going to be over. He's not going to spend the next 50 years in that cell. Or we could put him in a cell just like that, and he will have 50 or 60 more years like that. So which one is more humane? Honestly, he got the more humane option, because he's going to get out of it a lot faster. And, you know, he says he found God. He says all that. I believe that we can be forgiven for anything. I believe that it's between him and God now. And he's done here. The sooner we can get him to the Creator, the better off we'll all be. That's my opinion. And that might sound harsh, and that might sound inhumane, and that might sound everything else. But you've got to think about what he did. He didn't hold up a gas station and accidentally shoot a clerk. He didn't get mad and shoot his girlfriend in the heat of passion because they argued. He kidnapped, sexually assaulted, tortured, and murdered a 7-year-old little girl. I have nothing for him. I have no sympathy. I have no empathy. I can't put myself in his position. I can't say, okay, well, if I felt like him, I can't do it because I can't even begin to understand. You know, I can empathize with Eileen. I can see how she, you know, life wasn't very good to her. And I can kind of see that. I can't with him. I can't even begin.
He had so many opportunities. He had so much support. He tried to play that, you know, he was stressed out at work and he was having problems with his fiance and he was a new dad and he had autism and he had Asperger's and fetal alcohol syndrome and lead exposure. There are so many people in this world who are stressed out about life, adulting. There are many people in this world who are autistic. I know a lot of autistic people myself. And I know a lot of stressed out people at work myself. None of them are preying upon little girls, snatching a little girl up, doing what he did to her, and tossing her on the side of the road in the Trinity River. Nobody else is doing that except for inmate 999640. Nobody. Right. So no, I agree. No sympathy whatsoever.
No. Yeah, like Brandy said, we've all got stuff we're stressed out about. We got stuff we're depressed about. I know several autistic people who this would never even cross their mind as something to do. They wouldn't even dream that this was a thing to do. Most people, whether they're autistic or not, this is not something that they think about. Nobody sits and thinks about this. And here's the other thing. There was a video, it's been posted on Facebook. I'm not going to share the man's name here who posted it, but you can probably find it if you do a Facebook post for inmate 999640's name, security footage, December 2nd, 2 days after he murdered Athena, where he goes to another house where a little girl's outside and he feeds the dog, walks around. At one point, he realizes there's a camera. So he goes to the back of the truck. He pulls a package out, looks at it, and goes, "Oh, I'm at the wrong house," and leaves. That video was turned into investigators. it was probably deemed inadmissible in court due to relevancy. I'm sure that's one of those things that the defense had blocked from being shown. Here's the thing. We don't know for certain what he was doing there. But we do know.
I have a good idea. I have a good idea.
I do too. And we do know that it's kind of his MO to say, oops, I'm in the wrong place. Because what did he do the day after he kidnapped Athena? He drove down that road where they were looking for her. He drove down her road again. And what did he do when he got down there? Oh, I got the wrong address. I'm on the wrong road.
Yes.
I was born at night, but not last night. He was already looking for another victim. And I don't think Athena was actually the first. I don't think she was the intended first victim. I think the first house that he stopped at, one of those two little girls, if not both, were the intended victim. But their parents came outside.
I agree.
Honestly, I can't be convinced otherwise. Certainly not by his own word.
I agree.
But
so, yes. So, for all the people who think that he's not getting a humane punishment, that he doesn't deserve this, darkness debaters, Mandy and I both would respectfully disagree.
And I absolutely agree that everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Yes.
And I'm not going to call anybody names if they disagree with the death penalty, even in this case. I'm not going to call you names. But what I am going to say is that I wholeheartedly believe, and Brandy wholeheartedly believes, that in this case, justice in the only way we can give it has been served. Well, will be served when he takes his last breath.
Yeah. Because, of course, nothing will ever bring Athena back.
Right.
But we can make dang sure that that monster, that vile, will never harm another person ever again.
Absolutely. That's absolutely right. Thank you, Darkness Debaters, for hanging in there with us these last couple of episodes. It's certainly been difficult.
It has.
And remember her family. Remember to keep them in your hearts. They got a long road ahead of them, even though the trial is over.
Yes.
I mean, there's still more to come for them. There's a lot more healing that needs to happen, and for the jurors, keep those jurors in your mind and in your heart, that they're able to get past everything that they saw and heard, because I'm sure it already was causing it had already started causing problems for them.
Yeah. I think we should mention too that now that the trial's over, Maitland, Athena's mom, is kind of moving towards more making a legacy for Athena's name.
Yeah.
And she started her nonprofit, and she's wanting to bring change. She's wanting to bring Athena alerts to other states, not just Texas. She's wanting to do scholarships for kids so they can be anything they want to be. And she's wanting to help families whenever they happen to come upon horrible situation like she was in at one time. She wants to help them financially. So I'm sure Mandy will put the link. It's Athena's Army. And I think
we share their stuff on our Facebook page every chance we get. So if you see them over there, be sure and go give it a like, follow it. It's a nonprofit, so There might be some tax deductible stuff. I'm not sure about all that, but I'm sure you could go to the website and find out more information about that.
Yeah, they were talking about, with Athena's 11th birthday coming up, her 11th birthday in heaven, if everybody would just donate $11 to her mom's nonprofit and in her name, in her honor, $11 for her 11th birthday. Just imagine the difference her mom could make with all that money in Athena's name, and everybody will know Athena's name, and just bring change and positivity to all this.
Yeah, for sure. You guys go check that out. Please do. Donate what you can when you can. If you can't donate, share. Make other people aware of it. And remember, keep flooding the feed pink for Athena. Don't forget about her. I know the trial's over and everything like that, but there's still a road ahead. And when you think about it, share something pink for her. Please respect the family. Don't go to the house. Don't stalk them. Don't send them a bunch of unsolicited messages or a bunch of friend requests. They've gotten a bunch of friend requests too, people that they don't know, and they're not comfortable with strangers anymore. And that's one of the things that inmate 999640 took away from them. So even though you're a good-hearted person and you just want to keep up with them and you just want to offer your sympathies, they don't trust you anymore, and it's because of him. So that's something else to keep in mind. Just be respectful of them. They need our support, and that might look like supporting them from a distance. You don't have to tell them that you're supporting them to support them. We're not tagging them in this video. We're not sending it to them. We didn't reach out and ask them to come talk to us. I'm sure they've had a belly full of talking to people. Keep that prosecutor and all those investigators in your prayers too. I heard a family member of the prosecutor said he is just emotionally just spent after this. Keep the judge in your prayers. Athena's little sister. Keep them all in your prayers, because it took a lot of people to get us to this point. And these are people who are now forever changed. That's all I got for you. Brandy, you got anything else?
I just want to end with this. I want everybody to keep shining your pink light for Athena Presley Monroe Strand. Now and forever, shine the pink light, and let's never forget her name.
Absolutely. Darkness debaters, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Bye, guys.
Bye.